enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, so on and so forth. The Buddha is none other than this mind, this cognizance, this very knower, this awareness, one that is doing the talking, one that is doing the listening. That mind, without when that mind is left alone, uncontaminated by all kinds of fabrication, this very naked, uncontrived mind is the Buddha. So because of that, even just the mere thought of the Buddha if you like, invokes the Buddha right in front of you. So let us think of this for a few moments. And for those who are like me, still bound by symbol, some sort of a tangible, like physical, we love to have some sort of a tangible Buddha. So for those of us, I like to just show you a statue of the Buddha, and the thinking that this Buddha, this statue is not bronze or gold or silver, but in fact, the Buddha, Shakyamuni, standing, sitting, walking, however you wish, thinking that, please do 3 prostrations. And then please fold your palms together and repeat this verses that takes refuge 3 times. Changchup Ningpur Chi Ji Bar Sanje Namla Chapsu Chi Chödang Changchup Sampa Yi Choglang Dejin Chapsu Chi Changchup Ningpur Chi Ji Bar Sanje Namla Chapsu Chi Chödang Changchup Sampa Yi Choglang Dejin Chapsu Chi Changchup Ningpur Chi Ji Bar Sanje Namla Chapsu Chi Chödang Changchup Sampa Yi Choglang Dejin Chapsu Chi. So with this the recitation of the 3 times, basically what you are saying is, I take refuge to Buddha, I take refuge to Dharma, and I take refuge to Sangha. And with this, you should consider that you have taken refuge to the Triple Gem. Now, I'd like to tell you a little bit about refuge. Sometimes I feel that there's several different kinds of misunderstanding. Some people seem to think that like refuge is a bit like a Christian, like baptizing, I think, baptism. I don't know whether I don't. You can judge yourself after I explain. I mean, also, generally, we have been told that when you take refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, that is the time you become Buddhist. Yes, I mean, broadly speaking, you can say that's correct. But I want you to think about it after I explain to you what our attitude towards refuge should be. And also, there's a subsequent mindset that once you take refuge, then you kind of have to do a homework. Like every day, you are supposed to do at least a refuge recitation, certain amount of the time. I'm sure you have heard something like this from certain teachers, and I will not refute that, because it is a skillful means. It's I mean, many times that teachers tell us these things, because one tells somebody who wants to follow a certain discipline, okay, you need to do this every day. I mean, even in the explanation of the refuge, we hear things like, as someone who has taken refuge to the Buddha, one is not supposed to then take refuge to anyone who is not enlightened as an ultimate object of refuge. In other words, I mean, if you have taken refuge to Buddha, then it doesn't really make sense that you take refuge to something like, let's say, God of trees or God of water, or, like, we are talking about object, ultimate object of refuge. Of course, relative object of refuge, I think there's no problem here. So sometimes these kind of ideas, I think, derail our idea of refuge. Here is something that I wanted to share. Just this is, I'm sure many of you have heard this thousands of times, but I wanted to emphasize this. So let's say some of you today, you have never taken refuge. This is the first time you are taking refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. And some of you are doing this with this mindset that, okay, all compounded things are impermanent. You know, everything that is made, compounded, created are impermanent. That's the truth. And I surrender to that. I am not going, that's it. That's the sort of the final truth. You know, it's a bit like all fire is hot. There's no doubt that maybe sometimes the fire becomes cold. Or, all water, as long as it's a water, is wet. That is the truth, right? And this truth we accept and we surrender to this truth. And this is why if you don't want to get wet, you don't go to water. That's the benefit. Or if you want to get wet, then you go under the water. So you know what it is. What you get when you know the truth. You see, so fundamentally we are talking this simple, this level of simplicity. And I want some of the new participants here to understand this. So today, if some of you have really come to a conclusion, yes, all compounded things are, impermanent, and nothing in our life that is, nothing in our life, especially that is something to do with our emotion, will give us ultimate satisfaction. Okay, it might give us a little bit of satisfaction for a day or two, or even a year or two, but 100% unchanging satisfaction is not going to happen. So if some of you sort of accept that, this is the truth. This is the, this is the truth that I'm surrendering to. And then also, everything is just my projection, actually. As long as I am, whatever, things like good, bad, right, wrong, all these are just my projection. It does not exist outside, independent from your projection. So if you can surrender to that truth. So today, if some of you have done that with a really rational mind, with a sober mind, and then you think, yes, this makes sense. This is unfailing. It's never going to be like one day when you wake up, some compounded things become permanent. And it's never going to become like that. So it's unfailing. So if you can really surrender to that truth, and therefore you then also have a strong admiration to someone who taught that, which is the Buddha. And then you like this guy, wow, he really he really nailed it, like the Americans say, he nailed it. He really found the truth. And that's, it's not like because Buddha said everything is impermanent, suddenly everything became impermanent. It's not that. Buddha taught that truth. So you are impressed, like this is how human beings work. We love, we like, we respect, we admire someone who really makes sense, who gives us sensible ideas, ways, paths, solutions. We love them, we respect them. That's natural. So some of you today, you think, oh yeah, this is good. He's right. And then also you associating with a community or the system that believes in this truth. Basically, if you have that, after tonight, some of you may never chant this refugee prayer, ever, probably. What I'm saying is, you have taken refuge. Okay, so after this, then you decide. Yes, it is true that when you do that, you become a Buddhist, but it's not really something like a baptism. I don't think so. It's really basically in Buddhism, taking refuge is really a ceremony. It's like a, what do you call it, rite of passage. Suddenly you become adult, right? Rite of passage. Some cultures have this. Then suddenly now I've become man. Now I've become a woman. Now, finally, I wake up to something. So for some of you, maybe this is your rite of passage. Sort of, wow. Yeah, okay. Another thing is, and many of you, right after this refuge, and right after accepting that everything is impermanent, or compounded things are impermanent, you will forget it. Of course. You will forget it. It's not going to be like you are going to sort of think about this. That does not mean that you suddenly become not Buddhist when you have forgotten about this. It's a bit like, in our life, many times we forget a certain truth. That's because we get distracted so much. But if you again sort of tune yourself, you recollect, I've taken, I know this. I just forgot about it. So this is why, in Buddhism, there are practices such as recollection of the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. Recollection, they call it. There's even a sutra. So you're trying to remember, this is why we chant the refuge prayers also. It's really to remember, sort of, it's a bit like, let's say, that water is wet. But suddenly, I don't know, the ceiling fall on your head, a little bit of brain damage, and then dementia, and then you forgot the water is wet. So then probably you walk in the shower with your full suit. That can happen, of course. But then you remind, someone remind you, or you remind, no. If I go to under shower with my full, I'm going to get wet, because the truth is water is wet. So this is something that I wanted to share. Anyway, many of you have heard this millions of times. I'm sorry, those who are already getting bored hearing broken record again and again. Now the bodhicitta, which is today's sort of the main ingredient, so to speak. So since we have taken the refuge, now we have a ground to take the bodhisattva vow. And I really urge you, I really encourage you to take the bodhisattva vow. This is a one vow that there is no reason to not take. I mean, this is the most beautiful vow. It's more beautiful vow than I will take a vow to build 100 hospitals. I will vow not to kill, not to steal, not to lie. They're all very, very beautiful. But this one is a million times more beautiful. Why? Because this is a vow to awaken sentient beings to the truth that we have been talking earlier. Because that's the best gift you can give. Yes, of course, 100 hospitals, fantastic. I'm sure it will help a lot of people, but there's still going to be sick people. And then beside that, there's many other problems. Hospitals can really make you win a prize for being the greatest philanthropist, and that could really shoot your ego up to the ceiling. So that kind of thing can happen. But wow. I mean, it's like a mother. A mother can give a baby a toy or a sweet to temporarily dampen the, tantrum or sadness or the demand of a baby. Fine. Or say nice things, stroke, But mother also, more importantly, mother will like to tell the baby the truth, right? Eventually, the mother is always trying to tell the truth. I mean, this is happening actually in a very, very profound way. Just recently, I was with women who have children, and the children are already asking about death. And I have noticed that many times the parents, they try to sort of cover it up. That's a little risky, that's like children are going to find these things out. But I understand the parents don't want to talk about death. If like a girl of 6 years old girl is already talking about, death, that's, it's very awkward. I understand. But sooner or later, a parent has to tell the child, there is things like, the truth, basically. So wishing to awaken sentient beings to the truth, this is the quintessence of the Bodhisattva vow. So please, I encourage you to take this vow. So again, please think that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are in front of you. And again, for those who wish to have some sort of an image, I'm going to have the Buddha statue on the screen, and please recite what I say. Chitar nganji deshe ji changchup thugni jeba tang changchup sempi Lhabab dada rimjin nepa tar tejin dola pendendu changchup semni jeji shing tejin duni Lapa lang rimba jindu labar ji. Okay, so that's first recitation. We will do two more, okay, 2 more times. This is first, we have already done 1. But I want to say a few more words about bodhicitta. I'm sure many of you want to live long. I'm sure. That's why you take those vitamins. That's why you go to gym, right? That's why you go walk. That's why you go to, I don't know, like, I'm sure you all want to be looking good, living long, right? Longevity. Do you really want to live long? Now I'm telling you, if you want to live long, you should take the Bodhisattva vow. The reason is you need a big vision as your project so that your driving and the will to live long is worthy and good. I mean, let's say if your vision is just to, I don't know, just to cook omelette, why would you want to live long? Okay, maybe for about a year you want to cook omelette again and again. But after a while, then that's, it's so sad, right? It's so boring. You need a big project. You really need a big project so that your drive, your force, there's a driving force, that the energy. So this is why you need to take the Bodhisattva vow if you want to live long. So please take the Bodhisattva vow again, one more time. Jitar nganji, deshe ji, changchup tubni, jeba tang, changchup sempi, lapa la, teda rimjin, nepa tar, tejin dola, pendendo, changchup semni, jeji shing, tejin duni, lapa lang, rimba jindu, laparji. Okay, again, I want to say some other things why you should take the Bodhisattva vow. I'm sure many of you want to magnetize people. I'm very sure. You want people to like you, right? You want to seduce people. You want to, sort of, I don't know, you want to sort of make people like you, don't you? I mean, otherwise, why there's this Prada, Hermes, perfumes, all this, like hair shampoo? Why? All this is so that people will like you. Yeah, of course, you should use those Prada, Gucci, hairstyle, nail polish. Please, don't stop, do that. But the real formula that will make people like you, not just few neighbors, whole sentient beings liking you now. Can you imagine this? Ghosts, gods, demons, nagas, they all liking you and liking you genuinely, not just like social kind of, etiquette liking you. You understand? They're really liking you. This can only happen if you have a genuine wish to awaken others. So with this in mind, please take the Bodhisattva vow again. Jitar nganji, deshe ji, changchup tungni, jeba tang, changchup sembi, lapa la, teda rimjin, nepa tar, tejin rola, pendendu, changchup semni, jeji shing, tejin duni, lapa lang, rimba jindu, labarji. Okay, one more, and this is the last one. One more reason why you should take the Bodhisattva vow. I'm sure many of you are afraid of death. After death, then what? You know what I mean? Death, and then what? Take Bodhisattva vow. This is just a beginning. taking the bodhisattva means after death, more work. There's a lot more things to do. This is just the beginning. So your attitude towards the death will be like, like this. I'm wearing this. And my attitude, like your attitude towards the death will be like, oh, needs a bit of a laundry situation here. Take off, and you are looking forward to put on your new shirt. Like that, because you want to go on more, continue. So have the bodhisattva vow, because you want to awaken sentient beings. And you should not think like a, sort of a small-minded, sort of a only, because, some of me, you may think, oh, I don't want to come back here. It's just too tiring. Gosh, I really just can't handle the traffic. I can't handle the domestic problem. Don't think like that, because it just means that you don't understand the sort of, you haven't understood how to have fun, so to speak. It's a bit like, if you like playing mahjong, let's say, staying the whole night, it's not a problem. You almost like it, right? So, or if you can really develop this wish to awaken sentient beings, coming to this samsara again and again, even going to the hell realm, it's a fun. You will do it, as Shantideva said, like a swan gliding into the lotus pond, you will come. So with this attitude, please take the bodhisattva vow. I'm sorry, this has become the fourth because I'm a little bit disorganized, but let's do it again. Why not? Chitar ngunji, deshe chi, changchup tuni, cheba tang, changchup sembe, labala, teda rimjin, nebatar, tejin dola, pendendo, changchup semni, che jishin, tejin tuni, labalang, rimbajindo, labarji. Okay, now I will say a few words, so please contemplate on this. Today, so you should think, today my life has become fruitful. Today I have become the child of the Buddha, heir to the Buddha. Like a beggar, like a destitute, blind beggar, bumping into a treasure mine. Today, amidst these emotions, I have bumped into this mind to awaken sentient beings. And now declare this to all sentient beings, especially gods and asuras. There's a story that every time we take bodhisattva vow, the asuras and the gods, they're extra happy. So please declare this by thinking, today I have become the servant to the sentient beings and the Buddhas. Therefore, O gods and asuras, rejoice. And now think that, may I be the guide for those who are lost. May I be a lamp in the darkness. May I be a bridge to cross. May I be a boat to go across the ocean. May I be medicine for those who are ill. In whatever form or shape, may I be useful so that sentient beings, so that I will lead them to the awakening state. Since this is a very special occasion, because we have taken the refuge and the Bodhisattva vow, let me now recite some auspicious verses. Sanje Pemandam Rajibi Chang, Jitenson Rajinada Mijava Jitama Juvan Jiva, the Nijing Soji Joran was a Jatambaji, the Nijiting Taji Sumba. You know, just a damage of the road and major. Jambation about the saying, you wanted to change it. Someday the trashy dele some sort of show. That's it.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Thank you. So we will now begin our mini Monglam, where we will be reciting the Heart Sutra, the Sutra of the Three Heaps, and Samantabhadra's King of Aspiration prayers. We will be reciting in Sanskrit, English, and Chinese in the main room, but please feel free to recite in your own language. The link to download the prayers in French, Japanese, Russian, Portuguese, and Spanish is in the chat box. Please understand that some prayers might not be available in your language yet. In that case, please follow the recitation in the main room. The English and Chinese text on the screen is available for download in the chat box and will also be available for download on the Kumara Jiva website. The term Monglam means the path of aspiration. As we recite, let us generate the aspiration in our hearts to liberate all sentient beings from suffering, for all to be their own masters and to achieve enlightenment. Deepa, please lead us with the Heart Sutra.
Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutram. Namaha Sarvajñaya. Aryavalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Gambhirayam Prajna Paramtayam Charyam Charmano Vyavalokayati Sma Panchaskandhaha Tasha Svabhav Shunyam Pashyati Sma Iha Shariputra Rupam Shunyata Shunyateva Rupam Rupanna Prithak Shunyata शून्यताया न पृथग् रूपम् यद्रूपं सा शून्यता या शून्यता तद्रूपम् एवमेव वेदना संज्ञा संस्कार विज्ञानानि च शून्यता इहं शारिपुत्र सर्वधर्माः शून्यता लक्षणा अनुत्पन्ना अनिरुद्धा अमला न विमला अनूना न परिपूर्णा तस्मात् शारिपुत्र न चक्षुश्रोत्रघ्राणजिह्वा कायमनांसि न रूप शब्द गन्धरस स्पृष्टव्यधर्माः न चक्षुर्धातुर्यावन्न मनोधातुः न विद्या न विद्या न विद्याक्षयो न अविद्याक्षयो यावन्न जरामरणम् न जरामरणक्षयो न दुःखसमुदय निरोधमार्गा न ज्ञानं न प्राप्ति न अप्राप्तिः तस्मात् शारिपुत्र अत्रातित्वात् बोधिसत्त्वस्य प्रज्ञा पारमिताम् आश्रित्य विहरति चित्तावरणः चित्तावरणनास्तित्वाद् अत्रस्तो विपर्यासातिक्रान्तो निष्ठनिर्वाणः प्राप्तः त्रयत्वव्यवस्थिताः सर्वबुद्धाः प्रज्ञापारमिताम् आश्रित्य अनुत्तरां सम्यक् सम्बोधिमभिसम्बुद्धाः तस्मात् ज्ञातव्यं प्रज्ञापारमिता महामन्त्रो महाविद्यामन्त्रो अनुत्तरमन्त्रो असमसममन्त्रः सर्वदुःखप्रशमनः सत्यं मिथ्यत्वात् प्रज्ञापारमिताया मुक्तो मन्त्रः तद्यथा गते गते पारगते पारसंगते बोधि स्वाहा तद्यथा ॐ गते गते पारगते पारसंगते बोधि स्वाहा गते गते पारगते पारसंगते बोधि स्वाहा इति प्रज्ञापारमिताश्रयसूत्रं समाप्तम्।
般若波罗蜜多心经，唐三藏法师玄奘译。观自在菩萨行深般若波罗蜜多时，照见五蕴皆空，度一切苦厄。舍利子，色不异空，空不异色，色即是空，空即是色，受想行识亦复如是。舍利子，是诸法空相，不生不灭，不垢不净，不增不减。是故空中无色， 无受想行识，无眼耳鼻舌身意，无色声香味触法，无眼界，乃至无意识界，无无明，亦无无明尽，乃至无老死，亦无老死尽，无苦集灭道，无智亦无得，以无所得故。菩提萨埵，依般若波罗蜜多故，心无挂碍，无挂碍故，无有恐怖，远离颠倒梦想，究竟涅槃。三世诸佛，依般若波罗蜜多故，得阿耨多罗三藐三菩提。故知般若波罗蜜多是大神咒，是大明咒，是无上咒，是无等等咒，能除一切苦，真实不虚。故说般若波罗蜜多咒，即说咒曰：嘎呆嘎呆，巴拉嘎呆，巴拉僧嘎呆，菩提梭哈。
The Sutra of the Heart of Transcendent Knowledge. Thus have I heard once a blessed one was dwelling in Rajagriha at Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a great gathering of the Sangha of monks and a great gathering of Sangha of Bodhisattvas. At that time the blessed one entered the Samadhi, expresses the Dharma called profound illumination, and at the same time noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, while practicing the Prajnaparamita, saw in this way. He saw the five skandhas to be empty of nature. Then through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to noble Lokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, how should a son or daughter of noble family train who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita addressed in this way? Noble Kiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, said to Venerable Shariputra, O Shariputra, a son or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita should see in this way, seeing the five skandhas to be empty of nature. Form is emptiness, emptiness also is form. Emptiness is no other than form, form is other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness are emptiness. The Shariputra, all dharmas are emptiness. There are no characteristics, there is no birth and no cessation, there is no impurity and no purity, there is no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no dharmas, no I, dhatu of do, no mind, dhatu, no dhatu of dharmas, no mind, consciousness, dhatu, no ignorance, no end of ignorance, no old age and death, no end of old age and death, no suffering, no origin of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path, no wisdom, attainment and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since the Bodhisattvas have no attainment, they abide by means of Prajnaparamita. Since there is no obscurity of mind, there is no fear, they transcend falsity and attain complete nirvana. All the Buddhas of the three times by means of Prajnaparamita fully awake to unsurpassable, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the great mantra of Prajnaparamita, the mantra of great insight, the unsurpassed mantra, unequaled mantra, the mantra that calms all suffering, should be known as truth, since there is no deception. The Prajnaparamita mantra is said in this way: Om Gate Gate Para Sam Gate Bodhi Swaha. The Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound Prajnaparamita. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised Navalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, saying, Good, O son of noble family, thus it is, O son of noble family, thus it. One should practice the profound Prajnaparamita, just as you have taught, and all the Tathagatas will rejoice when the Blessed One had said this. Venerable Puja, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, that whole assembly in the world with its gods, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas, rejoice and praise the words of the Blessed One.
Next up, we will be reciting the Sutra of the Three Heaps, also known as Confession of the Bodhisattva's Downfalls to the 35 Buddhas. The English text we're using today is translated by 84,000. The Three Heaps is a part of the Sutra Tohoku 68, ascertaining the Vinaya, Upali's questions. For the Chinese text, when the Kumara Jiva Project published the translation early this year, Rinpoche gave an illuminating teaching on the sutra. He said that the Buddhist concept of confession is really different from the terms used in many other religions. He also reminded us that our motivation here is not only to confess our own downfall, but to benefit sentient beings. You may find the entire teaching on the Kumara Jiva's website. Now, Simi, please lead us with the Sutra of the Three Heaps.
I seek refuge in the Buddha. I seek refuge in the Dharma. I seek refuge in the Sangha. I pay homage to the Tathagata, the Arhat, the completely perfect Buddha Shakyamuni. I pay homage to Vajragarbha Pramardhan. I pay homage to Ratnarshish. I pay homage to Nageshwaraja. I pay homage to Veersena. I pay homage to Veeranandan. I pay homage to Ratnagni. I pay homage to Ratnachandra Prabha. I pay homage to Ambogadarshan. I pay homage to Ratnachandra. I pay homage to Vimala. I pay homage to Suradatta. I pay homage to Brahma. I pay homage to Brahmadatta. I pay homage to Varuna. I pay homage to Varuna Deva. I pay homage to Bhadrashri. I pay homage to Chandanashri. I pay homage to Ananta Aujas. I pay homage to Prabhashashri. I pay homage to Ashokashri. I pay homage to Narayana. I pay homage to Kusumashri. I pay homage to the Tathagata Brahmajyoti Vikridita Bijnaya. I pay homage to the Tathagata Padmajyoti Vikridita Bijnaya. I pay homage to Dhanashri. I pay homage to Smriti Shri. I pay homage to Suparikirti Namadeya Shri. I pay homage to Indraketu Dvajraja. I pay homage to Suvikranta Shri. I pay homage to Suvijit Sangrama. I pay homage to Vikra Rantagaman. I pay homage to Samantabhadra Shri. I pay homage to Ratnapadma Vikramin. I pay homage to the Tathagata, the Arhat, the completely perfect Buddha, Ratnapadma, Supratishtit Salendraya Vajra. To them and to all the other Tathagata, Arhat, and completely perfect Buddhas who dwell, live, and endure in all realms throughout the 10 directions, to those blessed Buddhas I pray, please pay heed to me. In this and in all the other births that I have taken in samsara without beginning or end, I have committed evil actions. I have asked others to commit them or have rejoiced when they were committed. I have stolen the property of stupas, the property of the Sangha, or the property of the Sanghas of the 4 directions, have made others steal them or have rejoiced when they were stolen. I have committed the 5 grave acts of immediate retribution, have made others commit them or have rejoiced when they were committed. I have taken the path of the 10 non-virtuous actions, have made others take it or have rejoiced in their taking it. Having been affected by karmic obscurations, I will go to the hells, I will go to the animal realm, I will go to the Preta realm, I will be born among barbarians in a border region, I will be born among the long-lived devas, I will have incomplete faculties. I will hold false views, or I will not be able to delight in the appearance of a Buddha in the world. All these karmic obscurations I confess in the presence of the Bhagwan Buddhas, who are wise, who have vision, who witness, who are authoritative, and who know and see. I reveal these actions, I do not conceal them, and I will henceforth show restraint. May those Bhagwan Buddhas pay heed to me in this and all the other births that I have taken in samsara without beginning or end. Whatever gifts I have given, even if just a small bit of food to an animal, whatever roots of virtue I may possess from maintaining discipline, whatever roots of virtue I may possess from chaste conduct, whatever roots of virtue I may possess by bringing beings to maturity, whatever roots of virtue I may possess through the mind of awakening, and whatever roots of virtue I may possess through unsurpassed gnosis, I collect, combine, and coalesce all of it and dedicate it to the unsurpassed, completely perfect awakening by making unsurpassable, unexcelled, and supreme dedications. Just as the Bhagwan Buddhas of the past have dedicated, just as the Bhagwan Buddhas of the future will dedicate, and just as the Bhagwan Buddhas of the present now dedicate, in the same way I also dedicate the virtue. I confess all evil actions. I rejoice in all merit. I supplicate all Buddhas. May my gnosis be unsurpassed. With folded hands I seek refuge in all the conquerors, the most supreme beings of the present, of the past, and who have not yet come, who possess the notion of qualities limitless and praiseworthy.
我曾生 施舍旁生一团知识，或曾持一境界，或曾修梵行善根，或曾修少分无上之善根，悉皆合集尽小周量如30一切诸佛于非生无上回向愿中，愿皆回向无上正等菩提。一切罪忏悔，诸佛皆随喜，悉宣请诸佛，愿证无上智，过去及未来，现在人中增无量功德爱，我今悉受礼。
Now we will be reciting what we call the Samantabhadra's King of Aspiration prayers, which is also known as Samantabhadra's Prayer for Good Conduct, or Zancho Monglam. This prayer actually forms the conclusion of a much longer sutra known as the stem array, or Ganda Vyuha. In turn, the stem array forms the 45th and the final chapter of the Buddha Vatamsaka Sutra. The stem array tells the beautiful story of a young layman, Sudana, and his quest for awakening through encountering a variety of spiritual teachers. I'm so pleased to share that 84,000 will be publishing an English translation of this sutra in its entirety on their new mobile app for iOS and Android in less than a day. I'm also happy to announce that we'll have the opportunity to get a sneak peek at 84,000's translation of the Prayer for Good Conduct, which we'll be using for today's session. We'll be reciting the first 12 verses of the prayer, which is the 7 branch offering. Deepa, please take it away.
यावत् केचिदश दिशि लोके सर्वत्रियध्वगता नरसिंह तानहो वन्दमि सर्वीयशेषान् कायतु वाचमनेन प्रसन्नः शीघ्ररजोपमकाय प्रमाणे प्रणामम् सर्वजनाभिमुखेन मनेन भद्रचरी प्रणिधान बलेन एकरजाग्रिरजोपमबुद्धा बुद्धसुतान् निषन्नकुमध्ये एवं शेषत धर्मतधातुं सर्वधिमोचमि पूर्णजिनेभिः तेषु च क्षयवर्णसमुद्रान् सर्वस्वराङ्गसमुद्ररुतेभिः सर्वजिनान् गुणान् भणमान् तान् सुगतान् स्तवमीयहु सर्वान् पुष्पवरेभिः च माल्यवरेभिः वाद्यविलेपन च दीपवरेभिः च धूपवरेभिः पूजन तेषु जिनान् करोमि वस्त्रवरेभिः च गन्धवरेभिः चूर्णपुटेभिः च मेरुसमेभिः सर्वविशिष्टव्यूहवरेभिः पूजन तेषु जिनान् करोमि च अनुत्तरपूज्योद्धारा तानधिमुच्यमि सर्वजिनानां भद्रचर्यधिमुक्तिबलेन वन्दन यच्चक्रं मयि पाप भवेया रागतु द्वेषतु मोहवशेन कायतु वाचमनेन तथैव तं प्रतिदेशयाम्यहु सर्वम् यच्च दश दिशि पुण्यजगस्य शैक्ष अशैक्ष प्रत्येकजिनानाम् बुद्धसुतानथ सर्वजिनानां तं अनुमोदयाम्यहु सर्वम् ये च दश दिशि लोकप्रदीपा बोधिविबुद्ध असङ्गतप्राप्ताः तानहु सर्वे अधीशमिनाथान् चक्र अनुत्तरवर्तनताये येऽपि च निर्वृतिदर्शितु कामा स्थानभियाचमि प्राञ्जलिभूतः क्षेत्ररजोपमकल्पस्थिहेतुं सर्वजगस्य हिताय सुखाय वन्दन पूजन देशनताय मोदन ध्येषणयाचनताय यच्च शुभं मयि सञ्चितु किञ्चित् बोधयिनामयमि अहो सर्वम्
所有十方世界中，三世一切人师子，我以清净身语意，一切遍礼尽无余，普贤行愿威神力，普现一切如来前，一身复现刹成身，一一遍礼刹成佛，于一城中成数佛，各处菩萨众会中，无尽法界成亦然。 深信诸佛皆充满，各以一切音声海，谱出无尽妙言辞，尽于未来一切劫，赞佛甚深功德海。以诸最胜妙华曼，伎乐涂香及伞盖，如是最胜庄严具，我以供养诸如来。最胜衣服最胜香。 墨香烧香与灯烛，一一皆如妙高具。我悉供养诸如来，我以广大圣解心，深信一切三世佛，悉以普贤行愿力，普遍供养诸如来。我悉所造诸恶业，皆由无始贪嗔痴，从身语意之所生。 一切我今皆忏悔。十方一切诸众生，二乘有学及无学，一切如来与菩萨，所有功德皆随喜。十方所有世界灯，最初成就菩提者，我今一切皆劝请，转于无上妙法轮。请诸佛若欲示涅盘。 我须至诚而劝请，唯愿久住刹成劫，利乐一切诸众生。所有礼赞供养福，请佛住世转法轮，随喜忏悔诸善根，回向众生及佛道。
However many lions among men there are in the three times and the worlds and the 10 directions, I pay homage to them with all without exception, with purity of body, speech, and mind, thinking that all the jinnas are before me. With the power of the prayer of good conduct, I bow down toward all the jinnas, with as many bodies as there are atoms in the realms. There are as many Buddhas as atoms within a single atom, seated in the midst of bodhisattvas. I focus on the entire realm of phenomena, without exception being filled by jinas in that way. I recite a praise of all the sugatas, enumerating the qualities of all the jinas, with unending oceans of eulogies, and the sound of oceans of every quality of voice. I make an offering to those jinas of perfect flowers flowers, perfect garlands, perfect music, ointments, and parasols, perfect lights, and perfect incenses. I make offerings to those jinnas of perfect clothing and perfect perfumes, pouches of scented powders equal to Mount Meru, and all perfect sublime displays. Offerings that are unsurpassable and exalted, I am resolved to offer to all the jinnas. I praise and make offerings to all the jinnas through the power of devotion to good conduct. Whatever bad actions I have done under the power of desire, anger, and ignorance, with my body, speech, and mind, I make a confession of them all. I am rejoicing in the entirety of merit, in the 10 directions that is created by beings, by practicing and accomplished Pratyeka Buddhas, by the Bodhisattvas, and by all the jinas. I make the request to all the lords, the lamp to the worlds, and the 10 directions, who have attained without impediment the enlightenment of Buddhahood, that they turn the unsurpassable wheel. With palms placed together, I supplicate those who wish to manifest passing into nirvana, that they remain for as many kalpas as there are atoms in the realms, for the benefit and happiness of all beings. Whatever little virtue I have accumulated, through homage, offering, confession, rejoicing, supplication, and entreating, I dedicate it all to enlightenment.
Thank you, everyone. So the English, Chinese, and the Sanskrit text that we've been using today will be available for download on the Kumara Jiva's website. So everybody, please check back tomorrow. Now let us recite the concluding prayers of auspiciousness, dance of wisdom and love, which is the long life prayer of Dzongsar Khyentse Rinpoche, and the dedication prayer. Simi.
May the teachers, the glory of the teachings, live long. May the holders of the teachings cover the entire earth. May the power and prosperity of the patrons of the teachings increase. May all be auspicious for the teachings to endure.
愿上师及教法常住世，持教行者遍满全世界，教法施主全才恒增长，祈愿教法吉祥久住世。
Om Swasti, dance of wisdom and love, sovereign of the entire Buddhist teaching, the great Dharma ocean of the transmission and realization of the profound and vast, you have mastered through hearing, reflecting, and meditating. Supreme incarnation, may your aspirations be fulfilled, and may your life and activity be infinite.
Om Swasti, 至慈之母，佛法主，深广教赞大法海，戒闻思修得自在，无上化身悉满愿，寿命事业皆无尽。
By this merit, may all attain omniscience. May it defeat the enemy wrongdoing. From the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, from the ocean of samsara, may all beings be free.
以此功德正遍知，无有敌障诸委员，离生老病死波涛，愿众生出轮回海。
As long as space remains, as long as the world remains, may I too remain to alleviate the sufferings of the world.
乃至有虚空，以及众生住，愿吾住世间，尽除众生苦。
Akashasya stitihi yavat jagatah stitihi tavam mama stitihi bhuyat jagat dukkhani nignatah tavam mama stitihi bhuyat jagat dukkhani nignatah tavam mama stitihi bhuyat jagat dukkhani nignatah.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today from around the world. We sincerely apologize for the unexpected technical issues, and we really appreciate your patience and understanding. Let us aspire that very soon we can all gather in person and recite these prayers under the Bodhi tree at the Mahabodhi Temple in Bodh Gaya with Dzongsar Khyentse Rinpoche. Before we wrap up our event today, we're excited to share with you the latest updates from the Lighting the Mahabodhi project. Prashant, the project director, will take us through it. Hello, Prashant.
Thank you, Candice. Good evening to all the Sangha. Good evening from Bir. Firstly, I would like to thank all the countless Sangha in every part of the world who have supported this sublime vision and intent of Dzongsar Khyentse Rinpoche, and for us in Siddhartha's intent, India, to have this opportunity to serve and execute this intention into action. As you all know, we commenced the project in 2019 of month of March, and it's been over 2 years. Of course, we were meant to finish the project last year, but due to the pandemic, we have experienced over 5 to 6 months of lockdown on the construction site. But in these 2.5 years, we have already, I think, close to installed 1,500 lights in over probably 40 to 50 locations in the whole Mahabodhi temple complex. We have laid over 6 kilometers of electrical infrastructure, and there is a brand new sound system. So we are really eager and excited to complete this project by December, and also to sort of make sure the offering is intact for the long run. We would be looking after the maintenance of the site for another 2 to 3 years. So we are very excited, hoping that we all can converge soon physically at the Bodhi tree and experience these sacred offerings, which are born out of our teacher's vast intention. So thank you all.
Thank you, Prashant, and thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. May our gathering on this auspicious day plant the seeds for Buddha Dharma to spread and flourish. We hope to see you again soon. Stay safe and well. Bye.
He dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavadat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramanah ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavadat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramanah. Ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavadat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramanah. Ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavadat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramanah. Ye dharma hetu prabhava हेतुं तेषां तथा